Hello and welcome to Night's Knots, a new and irregular series where we'll be taking a look at some of the frustratingly blatant issues and plot holes in movies, games, and other media. I wasn't actually planning on beginning this series quite so soon, but I was inspired, or to put it more accurately, enraged, by a recently released game. That's right, today we're gonna have a look at the ending of Mass Effect 3. As such, I should provide you with a warning! The following video contains massive spoilers. If you'd prefer to view the catastrophe that is the ending of this game on your own, go finish your playthrough, then come back when you're as angry as I am. There. Now that's out of the way, I'd like to start off by saying that Mass Effect 3 is actually a really good game. It's got great action and adventure, an intriguing storyline, some amazing voice acting, and just incredible dialogue.
I want the targeting laser synced up to the whole damn fleet.
Understood.
If we don't make it,
You worry too much.
I love you.
Keep us alive.
Now, it does have a few issues, some bugs, and a few points where BioWare seems to have just gotten lazy, but overall it's a really engaging game. Right up until this point, where the next 15 minutes sour the entire experience. A short synopsis. The Reapers have invaded, and an ancient weapon with unknown powers has been attached to the Citadel in a last-ditch effort to stop the attack. The only way to get to it, however, is through that big glowing beamy thing. And that's where things get weird. Suddenly the game takes an awkward shift and starts to feel like these last 15 minutes were desperately shoehorned in. You're constantly hoping that this is just another dream sequence and that Shepard will just wake up and reveal that this bizarre turn of events hasn't actually occurred. But he doesn't, and it has. Somewhat fittingly, I've divided my issues with the ending of Mass Effect 3 into 3 separate points, so here's the first. Number 1. Of course, the catalyst. That explains nothing. So the catalyst, which is apparently some kind of sentient thing embodied by the Citadel, is the key to making the Crucible weapon work. The catalyst reveals that it is in fact the force behind the Reapers. Unfortunately, the entire concept of the catalyst raises more questions than a Jeopardy contestant with Tourette's syndrome. And if this were the original Mass Effect, a few unanswered questions would be fine. But this is supposed to be the epic conclusion to the series, where all is revealed and put to rest. Instead, you're left trying to figure out just what the fuck BioWare was thinking with this ending. If the catalyst, aka the Citadel, is behind the Reapers, then who built the Citadel? Where did they go? What do they have to do with anything? And you, kid, who the fuck are you? Are you some living alien? Is this glowy ghost your natural form? Or are you some kind of telepathic alien projecting yourself into my mind? Or are you like Vigil on Ilos, a VI from a long-lost civilization? Am I just hallucinating from all the blood loss? Or are you in fact just a Deus Ex Machina solution the writers threw together because they couldn't be bothered to come up with anything compelling? I think we've got ourselves a winner. So, the incredible disappearing kid tells Shepard just exactly why he's been so horribly tortured by the Reapers. Oh, what could it be? Something deep and esoteric? Or something incredibly insidious? And survey says he doesn't like synthetics. Yep. Apparently this kid got fondled by a floor buffer and he's never gotten over it. And his master plan for dealing with the robot menace? Build a race of mile-high robots and have them destroy all advanced organic life. Yeah, seems reasonable. Anyways, you're given 3 options. First, you can destroy the catalyst by blowing up this tube, which will in turn destroy the Reapers and every synthetic life form in the galaxy. Hey, I think I just answered my own question from before. Obviously, this is the catalyst. The mastermind behind the greatest threat the galaxy has ever known is an inanimate tube. That's one hell of an end boss, BioWare. The problem with this option is fairly obvious. The Catalyst doesn't like synthetics. Apparently, he also possesses the technology to destroy synthetics. So why in the name of Christ's fancy sandals does he not just do that instead of screwing around with the convoluted mess of Reapers and mass relays? Don't get me wrong, I'm certainly not in favor of wiping out the Geth, but logically, would it not be easier to just set up some kind of emitters instead of relays, and every couple thousand years just wipe out any walking toaster ovens that might have cropped up? The second choice is to take control of the Reapers, but not destroy them. Unfortunately, doing so is a death sentence for Shepard. But this just raises more questions. How can he control the Reapers if he's dead? Will they just show up again after he's been thoroughly cooked? Do they continue to follow his orders posthumously? Or does he now take over the kid's job and gets to work as the ghost of Reapers past? Is he now the inanimate tube? And the last option is to chuck yourself in a big green beam of light, where you'll be torn apart at the molecular level, chucked in a blender with an iPhone, and form the genetic basis for a race of organic synthetic hybrids. Again, this option doesn't make any sense. The Catalyst suggests it as a solution to the problem of synthetics being created. But being even half biological, the ensuing race would obviously have some level of imperfection. So what exactly would stop them from experimenting with synthetic life forms? If anything, it's arguably more likely to occur. All they'd have to do is try to reproduce some of the more synthetic portions of their anatomy. They'll be at war with giant robotic kidneys long before those 50,000 years are up. So, there's your choices. Kill yourself, or kill Edie and the Geth, who are revealed to apparently be a race of sentient pacifists. Thanks for that uplifting conundrum. I need a drink.
What'll it be?
I want the strongest thing you have. It's green.
And guaranteed to knock you on your ass.
Number 2. If hindsight's 20/20, maybe you should try a little forethought. Now that we've got that moral dilemma out of the way, we can move on to the ramifications of your choices. Or, more specifically, regardless of your choices. A series of events follows your actions on the Citadel, but it seems that the writers either never bothered to think of what the implications of those events would be, or they just didn't give a shit that late in the game. No matter what choice you make, the Crucible fires, and one way or another, the Reaper invasion is ended. As a side effect, however, a pulse is sent through the mass relay network, destroying them one by one. Joker tries to escape through a relay, but the pulse reaches the Normandy and the ship crashes onto some random alien planet. This is more or less where BioWare has left the story of the Normandy and her crew, stranded on a planet somewhere. But this creates so many more problems. For example, Tali and Garrus, as a result of their genes, can't eat the same food as Joker, Liara, and the rest of the humans. Obviously, it's impossible to tell what kind of vegetation is growing on this planet, but suffice it to say that if the crew is stuck there for any extended period of time, one of these two people is gonna starve to death. Now, even in an absolute optimist's world, where Shepard chose to wipe out the Geth and survive the resulting explosion, and the crew could somehow duct tape their ship back together, as well as manage to drag it back into orbit, with the relay network destroyed, they'd have to travel back to Earth using conventional FTL engines. Who knows how far away they are? They could be thousands of light years from Earth. It might take them their entire lifetime just to make the return trip. So, taking all that into account, even if Shepard were to survive, the odds that he'd ever see any of these folks again is pretty damn slim. Which really makes this scene all the more unfortunate.
Do you remember what we said on Rannoch, just before you took down that Reaper?
You said, I love you.
And you said, Kila Salai. I want more time.
I think most people in their heart of hearts, always hope for a happy ending. That's just human nature. But a morose conclusion is just as valid as any other. What's invalid is an ending lacking in depth, substance, and any form of closure. That's not an ending. That's an insult to the franchise. Looks like I'm gonna need a refill.
Okay, for you, something special. This is Krogan liquor, Rincol. You'll set off radiological alarms after you drink it. Should I pour you a quad?
Hell yeah. Put more of the stuff in the thing where stuff goes in.
Number 3. A journey of 1,000 miles is negated by a shitty ending. But the worst crime committed by this ending is that it cheapens and in many cases outright nullifies all the choices and sacrifices you've made through the rest of the otherwise amazing campaign. Follow me, if you will. For the largest part of this story, we're collecting allies, mainly by improving the lot of their worlds. We settled a conflict brewing thousands of years between the Turians and the Krogan. Cured the genophage, giving Krogans the chance to truly fulfill their place in galactic society. A goal Morden had to give his life to achieve. We won back the Citadel from Cerberus, saved the Council, and all of the citizens and refugees on board. Of course, Thane died as a result, but surely it was worth it. We created peace between the Quarians and Geth after hundreds of years of war, gave Quarians their homeworld back, and allowed the Geth to develop true individual sentience, thanks to Legion's selfless sacrifice. We inspired practically every species in the galaxy to donate their ships and their people to the cause. Krogan, Turian, Asari, Solarian, Quarian, Geth, Elcor, Hanar, Drell, Volus, hell, even the damn Vorcha. And how is this all repaid? We bring them all to Earth, where all of the mass relays are promptly destroyed. After we spend an entire campaign fighting to give them hope for the future of their worlds, they're deprived of those homes. Of course, it's possible they could attempt to make the trek home using their faster-than-light drives, but let's look at the Quarians as an example. On this galaxy map, Earth is here, in this southern arm. Rannoch is all the way up here, on the opposite side of the map. The galaxy is about 120,000 light years across, give or take, so let's just say this distance were an even 100k. Now, who knows just how fast FTL engines are? They obviously can't be that fast, or what would be the big deal of the mass relays in the first place? Assuming that they are even able to make all the necessary stops to refuel, restock, discharge their drive cores, and deal with the endless stream of maintenance resulting from constantly running their FTL engines, it could take them 1,000 years to get back to Rannoch. If that's the case, then that means before they can enjoy the freedom of their homeworld again, every Quarian we've ever been introduced to has to die, as well as likely a couple generations after them. Take that and extrapolate for all the other races out there. Quite possibly every character in the Mass Effect universe that we have ever met could be dead before they get the chance to reap the benefits of peace. Morden, Thane, and Legion all gave their lives to put these poor bastards on a 1,000-year road trip? Really? That's what it was all about? Now, there's been a lot of talk about indoctrination, the theory being that Shepard never actually made it up to the Citadel, that the entire ending was just a fevered dream brought on by the Reapers, that the destroy option is the only true option, while the other two are simply Shepard submitting to the Reapers. After the destruction, a short clip of an N7 chestplate rising with a half-taken breath among the debris of destroyed London is the evidence people are using to prove this theory. And to be honest, the more that I think about it, the more I hope it's true, for the sake of the story and the characters. But it doesn't sate my indignation by any means. All this really means is that instead of being sold a game with a terrible ending, we were sold a game with no ending whatsoever. Worse yet, in all likelihood, we were sold a game with no ending so that Bioware can then explain it all in some post-release DLC. You know, on the Citadel's Presidio, there's a billboard near the apartments where you can listen to these huge chunks of dialogue from the new Blasto movie. It's pretty good. It's funny. Blasto's got a new by-the-books Elcor partner named Boobin. Pokes fun at the old buddy cop movie paradigm. It's pretty long, too. It's like 15, maybe even 20 minutes. I'm not exactly sure. But here's a suggestion, BioWare. Instead of spending all the time and money to write, record, produce, post-produce, and code 20 minutes of ultimately worthless fan service, instead, why don't you put those resources toward the story's conclusion? As entertaining as they are, this game can do without a few more Blasto jokes. What it needs is a real ending. An ending where all the choices...
Guide this one, Kalahira, and he will be a companion to you as he was to me. His last moments were those of a hero. Why pray for salvation?
The prayer was not for him, Commander. His wish was for you.
All the actions.
Morton, no!
Shepard, please. Need to do this. My project, my work, my cure. My responsibility. Would have liked to run tests on the seashells.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. Had to be me. Someone else might have gotten it wrong.
And all the sacrifices.
Shepard, Commander, I must go to them. I'm sorry. It's the only way.
Legion, the answer to your question was yes.
I know, Tali. But thank you. Kia Sanai.
So that all we've done can actually mean something. You know what? I think I need someone to drink with.
Shepard! Want a drink?
How are you getting drunk?
Very carefully. Taurian brandy, triple filtered, then introduced into the suit through an emergency induction port.
That's a straw, Tali.
Emergency induction port.